Welcome to this edition of Hindsight is Horrifying, the show where three mostly normal and somewhat cynical adults discuss life as members of the TV generation. Now here are your hosts, Darth Jada, Jason Mitchell, and Adam B.
Hello, and welcome back to another thrill-packed, action-filled, excitement.
I think you're over-promising and under-delivering.
I want you to make sure you watch the beginning of this when the missiles are launched. See that missile right there?
Yeah.
You know what that is?
It's a V1.
V2, I think.
Oh, V2. Right,
V2
yeah, V1 was a buzz bomb.
nerdy ass boys.
Oh, no. Are we in violation of any... Oh, we're not, thank God.
I brought one right here. I happen to have one handy. It was an SD model rocket V2 missile, which I broke and glued back together today just for this episode.
Aw.
Yes.
Do you mind?
No, go ahead.
Touches missile.
Here it is.
Yes, a V2 missile. That's about the right size.
Oh, wait, sorry, Jade. You might
It's not to scale.
Darth, you might want to move your head a little bit. Oh, excuse me.
It's got a parachute on it.
It just went off for no reason.
It popped off on you. It popped off, yes.
Usually I get a little more warning before that happens.
How embarrassing.
Yes.
So we are today watching a movie that now I realize is the story of the man I wish I was.
I don't understand that. Oh, Christopher
Walken. I feel a very kinship with Christopher Walken in this movie because I really want his bomb shelter.
See,
it is awesome, isn't it?
Especially after COVID. That's just the place to be.
We are watching 1999? 99?
99.
99. Sorry.
98.
The year of
98?
Brendan Fraser.
98.
I watched
No.
That's what it said.
Oh,
it says 99, but in the credits rolled, it was VIII.
Even on the internet.
I know. It said it on IMDb,
But the credits-
but the credits, who are you going to trust?
Yeah, that's true.
Ghostbusters, huh?
I think we just ghostbusted everywhere. So, anyway.
We're watching...
Blast from the past.
Yes. What an awesome movie.
I was surprised by how much I
Yay.
liked it.
I called it.
I at first, I'm going to admit, whenever I saw this was the pick, I was kind of like, eh.
I don't pick bad movies. Oh my God.
Well, I thought you were trying to get back at us.
No, I was excited to pick something for the first time since Deep Blue Sea, since I organize all the talent that shows up. Mostly,
We've got talent?
I'm trying to be generous.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't been able to pick a movie since Deep Blue Sea, so I was just really excited to have the pick for a while. Or for the first time in a while, rather. But we've got some bombshell talent in this movie, Jason, which you were talking to us about off camera. We've got Sissy Spacek. We've got Christopher Walken.
I like that you led with Sissy Spacek, though.
I mean, I really love her character because she reacts realistically to the set of circumstances that the Webbers find themselves in.
Yeah, she's a trooper.
Yeah,
she's a trooper.
Also a spiraling alcoholic.
Well,
who wasn't in the 50s?
Yeah,
Come on.
exactly, yeah.
I was about to say during COVID, who is
Actually,
it now?
for all you know, because it was 1962, right?
Yes.
Okay, so for all you know, she might actually have cut back while she was in the bunker.
Yeah.
Let's hope so. I think she was making up for.
All right, what's the plane?
Oh God.
Oh my God, I do not know.
F-86.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would not have guessed that. But
Nerdy boys at it.
I'm glad that they used something chronologically appropriate.
Yeah. And it's a great setup because basically for those of you who are, of a generation.
I've been living in a fallout shelter for all this time.
Why don't, Darth, why don't you tell us what
Please
the movie's
do, yes.
about?
I shall. So Blast from the Past is a romantic comedy about the fallout of falling in love. At its center are two children of the nuclear age, one a savvy, cynical, modern LA woman, the other an innocent, naive young man cocooned since 1962 in a bomb shelter. And Brendan Fraser would even correct you. It's a fallout shelter, not a bomb shelter.
That's true.
Brendan Fraser is Adam, a man out of time.
Yes.
So
That was a little on the nose.
this movie.
I didn't remember that his name was Adam in this movie.
And the girl's name is, of course,
Eve.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, this film blew my mind because in many ways it's autobiographical. And I'll talk a little bit more. Well, first of all, my job at one time, Navy Guided Missile School, my last duty station, was to train people how to blow up the world.
Yay!
Luckily, we didn't do it.
Wait, he was in the Navy?
Yes, I was, which I'll talk
confused.
about many times. But
which, can I just point out, it looks like these missiles are just going everywhere.
Hopefully that's not what you were teaching people.
No, this reminds me of when I was playing soccer.
Or when
go left.
When you were coaching kids soccer and they were all over the place.
You were on the Skittles team, weren't you, Jason?
Yes.
That's unfortunate. You picked a lot of grass back in your day.
Where is the where is the Naval Guided Missile School?
That is in just outside of Norfolk, Virginia, and Dam Neck, Virginia, which is a super top secret base. SEAL Team 6 trains there.
Ooh.
Wasn't that about when you got into the movie and
Dam
acting
Neck.
industry, Mr. Brown?
Well, the real scary part is when he comes out of his bunker, fallout shelter, right? Mm-hmm. Was about the same time I moved to New York City.
You can just say New York.
New York.
Boom.
Now, until that time, I was raised in Central PA, which is not known for its cultural education. So
That's the most polite way of saying it.
Hi, Barb.
So I lived.
He says to the man from Louisiana.
Yeah.
Well, I'm from the suburbs.
We grew up in the same way in many ways, you know. But it's figuratively a fallout shelter in many ways. And then I was a nuclear and chemical engineer in college at Penn State, a fallout shelter. Then I was literally put into a fallout shelter in a nuclear submarine. I leave my submarine and I moved to New York City. And my first roommate is a gay man.
Oh.
Actually, 2 gay men. So
fun times in the city.
Well, I bet it always smelled beautiful in your
I bet was it neat? Was the room neat? Yeah.
Well, you know, I needed a place to live. I had been couch surfing for a little while, and back then,
so were they.
You see, I'm going to open up a lot, and then you can close it.
That's what she said.
But I remember I was desperate for a place to live, and I found this great place. The price was right, and I took the place, and then I began thinking.
Wait, were you with Peter Scolari?
Did Mr. Roper bust in a lot?
It was almost like bosom buddies, but there was 3 of us.
Except there were no bosoms.
And the real poignant part, which kind of relates to the film, is when I moved there, you know, we always used to say you can tell when someone enters the submarine force because that's the style clothes they wear for the rest of their life. Because you're locked up, you don't really get exposed to much pop culture.
Aww.
So when I moved in with my 2 roommates, we got to know each other. They're like, honey, it's time for you to update your wardrobe.
They queer-eyed your ass.
And you're literally in a white with a Dixie cup going, what do you mean?
Is that cheese that just fell off your sleeve? Anyway.
But when they took me out, they took me to a place called Banana Republic. I don't know if they're still in business.
I'd have to check.
I think
But this was the shirt they got me.
Wow.
He always keeps it so relevant to the episode. Look at this man.
1998.
7? I was about to say that. Close.
And the funny thing is, I was about to throw it away, but I said, when am I ever going to get to use this again? And then this movie came out.
It's just...
It was the whole scene. They dressed me up, and they said, are you sure? I said, are you sure I'm not too gay? And they said, no. The girls are going to love you.
Just gay enough.
Just metro enough. You're stylish enough.
Oh, yeah, remember that.
Yes, being
metrosexual. I forgot about that.
Avenge shirts or whatever they were called. No.
No,
that was late 90s, early 2000s.
That was more for That was more for like...
That was what I was going for.
Okay.
Hey, did it work?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go then. Yeah.
It was all right.
I was about to say, because normally he's got a couple of different styles, as I've noticed. Sometimes you show up to our studio looking like Ryan Stiles from Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yes.
Other times you come in work clothes and you look very sharp. And other times you look like you're still hoping that your cover band is going to make it.
Damn!
I don't know if I was just slammed there, but I appreciated it. Got a reaction from the audience.
That was... Jesus. I don't know where to go now.
It was Honda accurate. That's all I can say.
So what I wanted to say, that was my first coming out into the real world when I moved to New York City.
So you came out with the gay guys.
He came out of the gay closet.
Just
to make it very clear. And one of those gay guys is the guy who played Kansas in Gypsy. Remember we were talking about, Patrick Boyd. Shout out to Patrick, my old buddy Patrick.
Full circle.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crisscross.
Full circle.
Crisscross.
As Scott Adams would say, the simulation sometimes winks at you.
It's a simulation in a simulation in another simulation. So
at a certain point, I don't even care.
But there's a movie. So,
there is. A movie.
right.
A movie about
that.
a man I wish I was.
Yes.
Brendan Fraser.
No,
Christopher Walken.
Nobody wants to be Brendan Fraser.
But unfortunately, in the movie, that's who I am.
I
could relate.
It's funny.
Well, go ahead.
Because my dear friend Kara, who has appeared on the show before, Hindsighters, before we started recording, she was on our Aladdin episode. Her husband is basically Brendan Fraser in real life. He's been
How did you describe him? Earlier,
he's this loving, loyal labradoodle of a person.
You actually said he was a golden doodle.
A golden doodle.
You said he was a golden
Well, he doesn't
doodle.
shed, so that's even better.
Oh, okay.
And he does have curly hair, so that's perfect. Yeah, he's a golden doodle. I was right the first time. But Brendan Fraser is just this innocent, naive, literally sheltered person who has never interacted with any other human beings but his parents because he grows up in a fallout
35
shelter
years.
for 35 years.
Exactly.
With Christopher Walken and Sissy Spacek.
And somehow
that'll work.
he turns out delightfully normal.
Yeah.
Because Sissy Spacek, she turns into a spiraling alcoholic, and she tries to hide her tension from her son. Like, she'll go into another room and scream when her husband's just being a little too chipper. Because Christopher Walken, and this is...
Sorry. For those of you
that's
aren't
a
in the
gesture
studio,
from the
that
movie.
just happened in the movie.
Yes.
But so they go into this fallout shelter because Christopher Walken's character Calvin is in fear of the Cuban Missile Crisis.
he's an inventor and he's a genius.
He's a genius.
brilliant.
He
yes.
is legitimately brilliant.
He's pretty much Rick Sanchez.
Yeah, I mean, he speaks
the nice version.
French, German,
Russian.
Those are just
I want to
the
say
three.
Unless I'm mistaken.
Just throw out another language. It's
Yeah,
fine.
he's an inventor. He's come up with all sorts of things. He was a professor who started
Caltech.
inventing,
Yeah.
and then he made enough money. And see that they set everything up. Everything in the movie is
was
just
very well
ticked off.
placed.
Yeah,
Yes.
And
exactly.
they did it quickly. It all happens in the first 20 minutes.
The setup. It's actually a kind of complicated story, and I think one of the problems I had initially was that once, as you were saying, the beginning of the movie takes place during the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Mm-hmm.
They retreat to the fallout shelter,
which is almost an exact replica of their house above ground.
It's so awesome.
And there's a great
It's so
callback to
fucking
that.
awesome.
Because Christopher Walken does replicate his whole house underground.
Yeah.
And when they first go into the fallout shelter, they have the half-life timers so that they won't be tempted to go back up to the surface when there's all this nuclear, radiation.
Yeah,
and
the one
stuff.
thing he doesn't have is like a radiation survey meter. It's the one thing I noticed is like
he could have had it.
He doesn't
had
have
temperature detectors.
Yeah, he has everything, but he doesn't have anything to measure radiation.
Well, and
which would have ruined the movie because he would have realized.
Yeah, there wouldn't have been a movie.
Yeah.
And, he makes sure that Sissy Spacek brings her pot roast down to the bunker, but he does not
No, she
grab...
insists because she's not going to let it go to waste.
But he said she can't do the dishes. She's like, well, cheese is particularly troublesome, Calvin. I wish you would at least let me do the dishes. But they bring the pot roast, but not the radio.
Right. Well, and to be fair...
leave the gun, take the cannoli.
To be fair... If he hadn't taken her into the shelter, they would have been dead.
That's true. He did save their lives.
He did actually save their lives.
Because what happens, Hindsighters, is that, as we all know in 2020, we didn't actually get bombed in America. What happened was that a fighter pilot had to eject from a test flight because he was having technical difficulties. He had to eject from his plane, and the plane crashed on the Webbers' property and destroyed their house.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, Jason, it would have killed them.
It would have... And... I don't really see how it didn't kill most of the people around.
Yeah,
also,
it's just like it was very.
It's a movie.
It was so concentrated.
Yeah, it's a
you
movie.
have to have a lot of not literary assumption, but you have to suspend your disbelief because
literary assumption.
Well, that's
And suspending disbelief.
suspend your disbelief. It's like I have an English degree. Yeah. But you do have to suspend your disbelief because they have cable, and I'm not sure because they're watching The Honeymooners.
No,
He had a projector.
Yeah.
Which he
it was
used through
reruns?
mirrors. It was just he brought films down and he used mirrors and unfortunately everything was backwards.
Yeah, he very specifically explained.
Right.
No. I thought he was just explaining how the image was showing up. I didn't realize that.
No, he had a
everything-
projector and he was
You could
projecting
hear
it.
and they were watching the same episode.
I don't know how they got the sound, but
Well, and there's a good
skip past
callback to that
yeah.
and the house itself. The fact that he made an actual model of the house because when they first go down into the bunker, Sissy Spacek responds to Calvin. He's like, "Oh, it's just like the house, darling," and she goes, "No, Calvin," and she's looking at the pipes and the cement on the ceiling, and she's like, "No, Calvin, this is different. Believe me." Because at the end, when they actually do go back to the surface and she can see the sky out in her backyard, she's like, this is different. Now, believe me.
There's one character coming up, this guy who
Paul Giamatti's doppelganger.
I loved him also, but I kept watching it thinking, if they made this movie today, there's only one human being who could play that guy.
Paul Giamatti.
No, H. John Benjamin.
Oh, wouldn't that be great? Yes.
That would be good.
It's so him.
His name is Joey Slotnick. He's the soda jerk.
He's been in a lot of stuff, actually.
He used to play jacks down at the soda fountain.
Yes.
Nobody knows what you're talking about, you idiot. But yeah, so Sissy Spacek does start to spiral, and she becomes kind of a raging alcoholic. As I
cooking sherry.
Yeah, there she's drinking whatever she can get her hands on.
And
well, I think it's like the difference between men and women. Men could go into a cave and live throughout the rest of their lives. Women need social interaction.
we all only came out of caves in the first place because of us.
Exactly.
We would still be
That's
there.
absolutely true.
You'd be watching
We had
the
everything we
honeymooners.
needed. We drew on the cave walls.
Yes.
We ate big racks of ribs. We put them on our car. We drove with our feet. Went down to the rock quarry.
Eat the Flintstones with your purple dinosaur. That sounded dirtier than I intended.
Yeah, it actually came out very dirty.
Sorry, Dino.
Oh, wait a minute. That sounded very dirty.
Purple dinosaur came out
very dirty.
I guess it does.
Sort of reminds me of your experience with the gay men. Anyway, speaking of, I'm not totally sure about his sexuality. The real star of the movie, besides Christopher Walken, Dave Foley.
Oh, of course.
The great, the legendary Dave Foley.
Should I pull him up for the hindsiders for those who
if you don't know who Dave Foley is,
we don't like you.
Come on.
She knows Dave Foley. You know Dave
Everyone
Foley,
knows
right?
Dave Foley. Kids in the Hall,
Kids
News
in the Hall,
Radio.
right.
He also did a stint on Scrubs. He irritated the hell out of JD and Dr. Cox because he was this very supportive therapist.
He was on that show, Dr. Ken, with Ken Jeong.
Oh, right. Yeah.
If you want to show the hindsiders
Let's
what
see
he looks like.
the various
Yes.
ways Dave Foley has looked over the years.
He was great in Kids in the Hall.
I saw the Kids in the Hall live, and it was
I'm not worthy.
It was incredible.
They were the kids in the auditorium.
It was they all they did was just classic skits from the show live. And it was awesome because you had like the whole audience literally saying every skit out loud as they were doing it.
And all those characters that we know and love.
That's like Rocky Horror Picture Show where it's just all interaction and the audience knows every single line to every bit of the script, every single song.
Same with
all
the
of it.
Pythons.
Yeah.
Yes. And the other star of the movie, who, gentlemen, we haven't even mentioned.
Oh, yes.
Alicia
Silverstone. Before she got too chubby to be in Hollywood anymore, which I'll never understand. She's so gorgeous.
Fuck Hollywood.
I don't understand whoever deemed that.
Anyone who says Alicia Silverstone is anything other than beautiful, come on.
You're a
you must
freaking
be
idiot.
someone who knows her.
Well, it's a very petty industry. Come on, you saw that?
True.
Did you see that video of that kid who was auditioning and the director thought it was muted, and the director was like
in the apartment.
Yeah, he was like railing on his apartment. Look how small that is. It's like all these pathetic actors.
Leslie Jordan put a video on that on Instagram.
And I'm like, oh my God, I am so glad I'm not in that crazy business anymore. It just annoys the shit out of me.
Yeah, it's a
Aren't
meat
you glad
grinder.
to be a headliner in a non-existent theater company?
Yes.
It's so much more
I would
fun.
much prefer that than to have to do with that poor kid. And he he looks. I think he's done some work before. I don't know who he is, but just that. Petty, arrogant director. I just felt like slapping him. But they posted it online, and all these famous people started coming to his rescue.
Leslie Jordan being one of them, and plus the fact that he just shot the director straight and was like, "Yeah, man, I do have a small, shitty apartment. I need this job. Will you hire me, please?
Yeah, just hire me. I can fix that. I can fix it right now.
Yeah. I'll get a bigger apartment. Once I can afford one."
And it's amazing because that director is probably the sort of person who would lecture everybody else about being a good person.
Of course.
You know that.
Yeah.
You know he's probably insufferable at dinner parties.
Well, speaking of famous
still have
directors,
those.
do you guys know who one of the producers was on this one, gentlemen?
Bryan Singer.
No. I saw it at the end, and I knew exactly who it was, but now it slipped my mind. Help me out.
From Deep Blue Sea and Cliffhanger, Rennie Harlin.
Oh, that's right.
Really? Rennie Harlin was the producer on this?
He was the co-executive producer. Yes. I know. I felt the same way.
That surprises the hell out of me.
When I saw that Nathan Fillion was on this, and I know for a fact
that blew my mind. I had no memory of Nathan Fillion being in this movie.
I didn't either. It's a small-ish, but he shows up a couple of times.
Yeah. Well, he gets punched like 3 times.
Like 3 or 4 times. But, well, you know for a fact, because he and Brendan Fraser, and it's funny,
he's my favorite.
Because I have to reveal this ugly secret, hindsighters. Mr. Brown has never seen Firefly. And I'm not sure I'm not sure that we're going to invite him back.
Any hindsighters who haven't seen Firefly?
Well, I will say this.
Correct yourself.
There are now so many virgins who are mad at you right now. They're literally people throwing their Kleenex boxes on the ground.
Oh, I threw it on the ground.
How dare he?
But
there we go.
No, so Nathan Fillion does make an appearance in this movie, and you know for a fact that he tried out to be... what you doing over there, Jason?
Nothing. We're good.
I think he threw his tissue box down and it knocked the tripod over.
I thought we agreed you wouldn't do that while I was in the studio anymore.
I was tubing.
Sorry, Elaine.
He got it.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just tuning out.
Can you imagine? Sorry.
I don't want to.
Can you imagine?
No, I don't.
Of all the things to get caught doing.
Oh, God. But
I would rather be caught murdering someone. You know? Oh, a baby seal. You know? What?
Oh, poor Brendan Fraser having to live with his parents for 35 years.
Yeah, but his dad's cool, though.
Yeah.
His dad is cool, but he doesn't have any...
Yeah, he doesn't have friends.
He doesn't have a girl or a friend or anything.
Yeah.
He
spends a lot of time in the basement.
He blew up a lot lot of cartons of eggs.
Yes.
So
yes, he did.
I'm horny and enraged all the time with no outlet for
fireworks.
Yeah, I think his bed sheets at this point probably bend.
They were very well starched.
Yeah, very
They're rather
starched.
crusty.
Yeah. Have we talked about the Walken Clinton scale on the show?
No.
Yes, we have.
Help me. I don't remember it.
LJ and I came up with this years ago because we had no girlfriends. So we had so much free time.
No
we had tons of free time. We came up with the scale of, because we're going to get a Nobel Prize one day.
You have so many good scales.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, I mean,
it's a way of measuring the difficulty of doing an impression of somebody. Mm-hmm. And at one end of the scale is Bill Clinton, because
that's the easy end of the scale.
Babies can do a Bill Clinton. Anyone can do a Bill Clinton impersonation.
Yes.
And the other end of the scale is Christopher Walken, and one human being on Earth can do that impression. And
I think I know who it is.
Yeah, it's Jay Moore.
Jay Moore.
Because seriously, it's like impossible.
Well, it's funny because I was told that I'd do a relatively decent one, and I was just going off the handle once when a friend who's actually also been on the podcast, Marie, she was trying to convince me that the remade Jungle Book was really good, and I was like, with Christopher Walken as King Louie, I just don't see it. It's just like I want to be a man cub. Stroll right into town. Like I was like, I can't see that with King Louie. No, I'm not saying
that's what I'm saying.
I'm not as good as Jay Moore. I realize that fully, but I was just like, I can't even get that voice. Should I do it?
Yeah.
There you go. That's a gesture between Christopher Walken and Brendan Fraser throughout the movie. But yeah, so they spend 35 years in the fallout shelter. That's where Brendan Fraser's character Adam is born.
In Vault 111.
Yes.
Neither of you get that, but there's people who get that.
The problem is that there's no Coochie Copy nightlight.
Yeah.
And, so none of them...
Vault Tech calling.
But, so Brendan Fraser literally...
Fallout reference.
Oh, my God.
Sorry, Fallout reference.
Somebody else say something.
Go for it. I'm sorry.
No, I hate you. Say something else.
I'll be quiet.
You've been quiet.
I'll keep being quiet. Shut up, shutting up.
No, so anyway, Brendan Fraser literally grows up with only the company of his parents until 35 years and on the timer.
Yeah.
And they're allowed to go back up to the surface.
Yeah.
Christopher Walken ventures out, and it's quite entertaining.
Stay away from my elevator. See, I can't do it.
No, leave my elevator alone. That's because it becomes the religion of the Paul Giamatti lookalike. Yeah.
Don't go near my elevator. See? That's easy.
Hey, ma'am.
Hey.
I like your button.
There you go. See? Anyone can do it.
But so Christopher Walken ventures up to the surface, and he gets solicited by a prostitute. He sees a man throw up in a garbage can.
A transgender prostitute.
We're led to believe.
Yes.
Because she does say
gender neutral, or it could go either way.
Sex positive.
Yes.
Not asexual.
Non-binary pansexual imp.
But he didn't bring an extra pair of glasses because he had to fix those with tape.
Yeah.
This makes me think
And
of
the
Weird
lens is
Science
cracked.
when you had your when you had your glasses taped together.
Yes, that's
Great.
the nerd right there.
Well, if you're trying to remember to bring everything, inevitably you're going to forget something.
Always. You'll remember
Like
it the
the
second
radio.
time around, but there is no second chances with this, right?
But what blows my mind is that Christopher Walken goes up to the surface and his first reaction is, "What happened to my backyard?" And it's like, you haven't been paying for your house for almost 40 years. You don't have a backyard anymore.
Particularly in California.
It's downtown. It's the valley in LA, and it's just absolute garbage. He comes out and it's raining.
Not
and it's,
Simi Valley.
No, he's dead in the smack in the middle of the valley.
Yeah.
And
It does look like a dystopian society.
I know.
Modern
compared
day.
to what they used to have going on there. Because this actually...
I see John Benjamin.
I see John Benjamin and Paul Giamatti's illegitimate baby.
yeah.
That's what I see.
Oh, those two should hook up.
Yes, and then they'll make this guy, the soda jerk. But yeah, the main plot actually changed from the original script because it was two scripts that got blended together. It was kind of the fallout shelter.
Oh,
That was a completely different story versus like how the soda fountains kind of, crumbled over the years and how they became less and less popular due to culture changes and stuff. And then the scripts ended up blending. So that it ended up being kind of a backseat, subplot in this because when you first
We should write a spinoff.
We should.
We should do a whole thing.
Combine it with like Pleasantville. Where's Tobey Maguire? Get him on the phone. But so the soda jerk, he starts out this wholesome guy, in 1962 we talked
Making
about.
$1.15 an hour.
It's called Mom Shop or something.
And impress the ladies with that kind of money.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Thanks for the job, Mom. And
My dad to this day will tell me, I remember the first time I got a job making $1 an hour and I was like, I'm rich.
But the soda jerk, he goes from this wholesome, sweet, Pleasantville type of guy to this completely like drug-addled, forehead tattooed religious nut because Christopher Walken's spare elevator breaks through his floor.
Goes straight through the concrete.
Yeah, I was wondering about the suspend your disbelief.
Move on.
It.
It's just a movie.
And he comes out looking like Marty McFly.
I know, that's what I thought. That's literally what I thought.
We called them anti-C's, anti-contamination suits. Contamination. See, this lumen is very potent. It's 1.5% alcohol.
Well, those were the ones that were in a fun pattern like Bill Cosby. The contamination suits.
Oh my God.
The jabba jabba.
Oh, well, we passed the time of the flash drills and the Cuban Missile Crisis, which never really happened.
Did I ever tell you about my great grandmother was an operator, a telephone operator during the Cuban Missile Crisis?
Oh no!
And we had an air base in our town, and it was it was a TAC base, but it did.
It's not Barksdale. No,
we were south of Barksdale.
Okay.
Yeah, but she was listening. Because like calls from Washington would come in and calls all over the country. And she was basically like, in great grandmother terms, we're fucked.
Yeah.
If you have a bomb shelter, get to it now.
Yeah. Well, I asked my parents about that once because my parents are the same age, and my dad specifically remembers flash drills. And my mom has no recollection of them whatsoever.
Really?
None. And I was just like, I remember getting under desks for tornado drills.
Yeah,
like,
everybody from that generation.
Yeah, because
she may have just put it out of her mind.
Maybe.
Possibly.
Or is she a Russian agent?
She's a sleeper.
Is she a sleeper agent?
Sleeper agent.
Sleeper.
She's a sleeper.
Yeah.
But here we go with the
Christopher Walken is getting propositioned by a transgender. Yes. Very attractive.
$200.
Yeah, not bad.
$200.
Okay.
Boy,
I'll even throw in some lawn furniture. How do you feel about that?
Can I see the lawn furniture?
Yeah. I'm paying her to leave after she delivers that lawn furniture. Well, that's what I'm paying her for.
See, and you talk about the economy. What would she have to charge now? I mean, $200. That's a steal.
I guess it depends on whether you want the girlfriend experience or not.
That's true. That's true.
She'll tell you how to dress and how to reupholster that lawn furniture.
Okay, when they shoot Christopher Walken with the water gun,
they were just messing with him.
Okay, so that's all
there's-
it
They
was.
did.
Okay.
There's
all
like
right.
did that back then.
play drive-by where this guy is like surprise and shoots him with shoots him with a water gun in the middle of a rainstorm.
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, it doesn't. But then Christopher Walken seeks shelter and runs into an adult bookstore, which comes full circle. Phrasing.
They sell Thoreau and Milton, really adult.
Really
for
adult.
Yeah,
adult stuff.
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Why
Yeah.
shouldn't I go into the adult
Exactly.
bookstore?
They have-
Poison gas.
Yes.
Poison gas in there.
And it's hysterical because his parents, Brendan Fraser's parents, lie to him throughout this movie.
Oh, yeah.
When Sissy Spacek curses and says "shit," they're like, "Oh, it's this sort of
Pardon my
archaic
French.
colloquial
Yeah.
French that means good." And Brendan Fraser's like, "Oh, good, shit."
Yeah, it's like-
now they can go back to the surface.
Yeah, you didn't think that one out, genius.
And
I love that she starts cleaning when she gets upset.
Yeah, but tell me, from that generation, that's the way women
Yes.
relieve stress by
Yes.
cleaning.
well, they
yes,
even
my
say
grandmother would do that. She would
yeah.
like get mad and clean things.
Oh yeah. Well, they even say in the beginning when they're first, because Calvin and his wife are having a dinner party when they first go into the fallout shelter, and they dismiss everybody because JFK is
Yeah.
on the TV and talking about the missile crisis, and
Hot Dr.
But
Pepper.
that's another thing. So Sissy Spacek, they're like, so what's the husband like? They're like, oh, he's eccentric. It's all get out. He's like this inventor, but he's a genius and he's crazy. He spends
It's
all
fucking Christopher Walken. What do you expect?
yeah. They're like, well, what's the wife like? Oh, housewife, pregnant, likes to cook. And they were like, oh, normal.
Normal.
then.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
He's got a gold watch up his ass. Come on.
yeah.
Yes.
But yeah.
No, wait. Before we get too much further, we do need to take a quick break.
Good.
So we will be back in about whatever.
Half second?
Yeah, that
How
works.
about that?
Who knows?
Yeah.
And we're back.
Back.
We're back.
That was synchronized for a second.
We should do a harmony.
You guys don't sing.
No, we don't.
Not at all.
I mean, I do.
The key of me.
Yeah.
I was singing Carry On My Wayward Son on the way here.
Oh, that's a good one.
I know all the words.
That's a fun one to play.
Yeah.
Which I have to suggest something to you.
The sound is on inexplicably.
It came back
It
on.
is? What?
I can
Are you hearing things?
The power button is
It was that acid she took just before the
technical
show.
difficulties. Just let up.
You can't hear it? Seriously? Go crazy.
I can't hear anything.
Okay, then I guess the
Hang on.
hindsighters
All
can
right,
hear
you
it.
guys talk. I'll.
Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, so
There, it's off.
there we go.
No, I want to start a band
Okay.
because I'm getting back into the guitar. So, what
Okay.
instruments do you guys play?
Saxophone?
All right, we got a saxophone and a guitar.
I sing. I don't play anything.
Yeah. She can be our...
Drummer and singer.
No.
I actually have played the
Tambourine.
drums.
Tambourine.
She could be like Davy Jones.
There you go.
You're
Right at the
only on the tambourine because you're somebody's girlfriend and you got shoehorned into the band. I am not the
Well,
tambourine.
what can Josh play?
Or boyfriend.
Trumpet?
Yeah, what can Josh play?
I hate both of you.
No, but we
No,
are.
this is my favorite line ever. Adam.
Yes, Father.
Don't forget, stay out of the adult bookstore. Okay, that's the first part, but then,
A blatant lie.
and then it's the poison gas. But then it's the second line that makes me laugh because it's so typical of an older man.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
Don't forget. That's the gas part. Is that all? No. Yeah. No. Hold on.
Bear with us, listeners.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Oh, he's going to pull him back. Here it goes. One more thing. If you find a healthy young woman,
Yes.
bring her on down. I'm sorry, but that's funny. Come on. Bring her on down. He hasn't seen a healthy young woman in a long time.
He spent
have
35
to
years
go.
with Sissy Spacek.
Yes.
And presumably, I mean, I don't know if he brought condoms. I'm just trying to.
Well, they've
work
been
out
married
that.
for a few years.
Yeah.
Maybe they just quit.
Yeah, I think it is. Well, they do have separate beds.
Yeah. As they did
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah.
And he was probably in that second phase of male life. The first phase is you're trying to get to women. Second phase, you're trying to get away, from them.
women.
You know, that's
Yeah.
he'll understand.
I feel attacked right now. Anyway, so what
no, wait,
happens?
why do you feel attacked?
Because I thought you were trying to get away from women, and
Okay, so you.
I happen to be one of them.
I'm changing the subject. You have to think of an instrument. It's okay. We have time. You can learn how to play something. Piano, violin, whatever. I don't know. So you have to come up with something. And you can sing. You can be the dynamic front woman of the band.
I want to play
the Debbie Harry.
There you go.
Okay. All right. That works. And we also have to come up with a band name. So
What if I play the flugelhorn?
Ooh.
if you can do it well,
Yeah.
we'll be that band. The band with the flugelhorn.
Do you know who the famous person who played flugelhorn?
I bet you're going to tell us.
How did you know flugelhorn if you don't know the one man who played flugelhorn?
Gilmore Girls.
Zamfir?
Oh, no. Chuck Mangione.
Oh, I do know who that is, actually. Okay.
You know, Chuck Mangione.
I would not have been able to tell you just from you asking, but
But
once
you said
it-
flugelhorn. Gilmore Girls use flugelhorn?
Yeah.
Damn, see, that's other pop culture that I haven't. I
That
need to
one,
learn.
you can probably skip that one.
Hey. Anyway, so what happens, Hindsiders, is that Christopher Walken has a heart attack.
It's a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, as a result of going to the surface and being shocked by everything that's changed,
Yes.
and then having a resulting fight with Sissy Spacek, who wants to go to the surface,
Yes.
and now Calvin is telling her she can't. Calvin has a heart attack, so Brendan Fraser, the responsibility falls
Yes.
on his shoulders to go out and get supplies.
I'll go, father.
Yes, and I think I'll be okay. And this is so adorable. I do remember this when my mother took me to see
It's
this in
very
the
sweet.
theaters.
The whole movie
so
is actually
wholesome.
very sweet.
Because he comes out to the surface and he's never seen the sky before. He's never seen an African American person in real life.
Hey, a Negro.
Yeah, and she's
But
like,
then
say
he
what now?
But then he like wins her over. He
Yes.
shakes hands.
How are
know,
you, man?
yeah, how
And
are you?
He's so polite and just wholesome. And
Well, it's the movie. It almost has this message to it that like it's really not that hard to be nice. You know,
and it's timeless.
Yeah, any of us could be friendly, like Brendan Fraser.
But this is where I get confused. So he freaks out when he sees the black lady, but then he doesn't pause at all when he sees a Middle Eastern person right after
Maybe he
seeing
thought he
her.
just had a nice tan.
Well, and he was panicking too because the guy's in front of the adult bookstore and he's like, "Oh my God, poison gas! Run away!" 'Cause his parents-
I love when Walken comes through the window.
It's so Ozzy and Harriet, isn't it?
Bang, zoom to the moon.
No, that's the Cramdens.
Yeah, the honeymooners.
Yes.
But
Because
he said Ozzy and Harriet.
I know, but they watch the honeymooners
Yeah,
They
on
did.
repeat in the show, and
know.
that actually comes back full circle. I'm not sure if you guys noticed.
We
this.
might not have.
It
What
was,
happened?
It was really subtle. So when they're watching the honeymooners, when Brendan Fraser's like a little boy, you hear Harriet saying, "Oh, just because I'm sending you to a psychiatrist, it doesn't make you crazy." And then toward the end of this movie, Alicia Silverstone, when she finds out that Brendan Fraser's he fesses up, "Oh, I've been living in a fallout shelter for 35 years," and he sounds insane to her. She calls a psychiatrist to have him committed.
Yeah, what a bitch move.
It
I
was,
know.
but when he goes back down, he escapes from the psychiatrist and goes back down to visit his parents, and he's like, "Mom, I think I'm being chased by a psychiatrist." And the only reference he has to one is from the honeymooners
Yeah.
when they were watching it in the fallout shelter. So it was a very subtle callback.
Hang on a second. I just realized there's a light glaring on us, so I'm going to... So people listening at home, if you have an electronic device,
Jason has weird
mute
lamps
it,
in
okay?
our studio.
Alexa, turn off the sun lamps.
This is some insider baseball stuff
there we go.
right
That worked.
there.
Did everyone see that? I hope.
Oh my God.
Power.
Alexa, order... No, never mind. I'm not going
Anyway, so but you have to love the innocence of Brendan Fraser in this movie, if nothing else.
Oh, Alexa is doing things for us.
Technical difficulties, but Brendan Fraser doesn't know how to interact with so many people. Like he sees a. I'm used to being interrupted by you idiots. but-
Alexa,
be quiet.
shut up.
Kayate.
But Brendan Fraser, he's just so sweet, and he doesn't know what to do with so many. Like he's never been on a vehicle before, and he gets
Yeah.
on a bus and he's yelling at the bus
Here
driver,
we
"Please
go.
stop the bus!"
Here
Like,
we go.
and he thanks a random stranger for not waving his gun at him.
Now, one thing that I did think was a little odd, being from the 60s, if you're giving your kid a wad of $100 bills, it seems like she would have probably thought, I mean, $100 even today is,
It's nothing to sneeze
it's nothing
at.
to sneeze
Yeah.
at. back then, that was a lot of friggin' money.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
like maybe tell him, don't go flashing it around and telling everybody. You're not going to ride a bus with it.
Well, she's a little preoccupied. Her husband just had a heart attack. And
she didn't know what he was going to encounter.
Well,
mutants.
that's true.
Mutants might not even recognize money.
That's true.
They thought it was going to be much more Rick and
Should have
Morty
had
do
gold.
Mad Max.
Yeah, bars of gold.
But Brendan Fraser, and this is what I don't understand is why Calvin would not have factored in inflation. Because Brendan Fraser goes to the market and he finds out, oh my God, just for the ground beef that we need or the frozen patties, that's $500. My mom only gave me $3,000 for everything. And it's just so you'd think that the genius scientist would have figured that out, but he also, a very important aspect of the story is that he gives Brendan Fraser all the bonds, the stocks, excuse me, that
IBM,
AT&T,
all the ones that
the big ones,
the big ones,
the blue chips
that make him millions upon millions of millionaire at the end of the movie. Spoiler alert, but.
I do want to point something out in this scene coming up where he goes to the baseball card shop.
Oh.
Yes.
That was
where he meets
classic.
Alicia,
I had
AKA.
this like deja vu flashback to when I was a kid, and I haven't thought about this for years. But he's got the complete sets. There's like the Topps complete set and the Don Russ complete sets, and I remember as a kid going into the baseball card store and looking at these. It's like that's every card from this year. Like, you don't have to buy the little packs. You could just buy that box, and it's got all of them in it.
Everything.
And it was like looking at gold, as a kid. And I haven't thought about it in 20, 30 years.
Do they even still sell them?
I don't know.
I don't even know either.
I have no idea.
But yeah, you had to have like 42 of people you didn't want before you got the one guy you wanted.
And then the one kid whose parents bought him the box set, and he's like, oh, Jose Canseco rookie card right here.
Yeah.
1986 Don Russ, bitch. That card used to be worth a lot.
Well, and
it's not worth very much now.
That's another secret weapon on top of all the stocks that Brendan Fraser has. He has all these incredibly valuable
and he just uses it
cards.
as currency almost.
Yeah.
And luckily, he ran into Alicia Silverstone. Because that guy was going to fleece him.
Did you notice one of the cards though? In fact,
What's so funny?
I haven't heard that expression in a while.
Really?
No.
Oh.
No, I know what it means.
Maybe it's from my generation.
No, I use that. I say
my
that.
generation.
But he actually, when he opens up the box the first time, like on top of it is a Honus Wagner.
Doesn't everybody want a Wagner on top of the box for the
You
first
laugh,
time?
but the Honus Wagner, that's the most expensive baseball card that's ever been sold.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was.
didn't know that.
And it was actually, there's only one still in existence, and it was like a guy after his grandfather died was getting the house ready to sell, and he was up in the attic and he found a box.
Oh wow.
And it was $1 million at least for the card.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like literally
$1 million?
Yeah, I gotta look it up.
$100 million. But so Alicia Silverstone ends up being Brendan Fraser's saving grace because he's about to sell his entire collection of cards for a measly $500.
$3.12 million.
Shut up.
He had that.
Shut the front door.
He had that card.
Show it to the hindsighters.
Oh.
Prove it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
$3.12 million.
Dear God.
Yeah. So he was already loaded
set up for life.
with
Yeah,
that, just with
cool.
that card. Well, the Mickey Mantle rookie card, they sold one of those a few years ago for a little over $500,000.
Well, because even in this movie back in '98, I guess, since it's not '99 like I thought, it was. I think Alicia said it was worth $6,000.
6,000?
Yeah. Try multiply that times 100.
Yeah. And he's got an entire box full of cards. So in order, because the whole strategy is that he's buying supplies because Christopher Walken has such a sour taste from his first experience on the surface that they're just determined to go back underground for at least 10 more years.
Yeah.
So Brendan Fraser's
The wife was not happy.
No.
And Brendan Fraser's whole mission is to get supplies for that. So
Alicia.
and Alicia Silverstone,
She's so pretty.
she's gorgeous.
She's just so pretty.
She really is. But she rescues.
Her voice is annoying in this movie, though.
Well, she's just kind of bitchy in this movie too.
She's cynical.
Yeah, she's quite jaded. But because she does help Brendan Fraser out from getting screwed over, and then he's so innocent that he comes off as creepy in a lot of instances,
Like many innocent men do.
Yeah. He's just actually
Never.
He's being honest, but he's saying things that
are inappropriate. Yeah, because he's asking her for a ride and he's a complete stranger, and she's like, "No, first rule in North America, sweetie, no strangers in the car."
Isn't that the rule in Canada?
I think it's well. If you mention Scooby Doo, you can get lifts anywhere in the world.
Scooby Doo,
Scooby Doo. You can be in the middle of the Hindu Kush. Scooby Doo, Shaggy and Scooby, come on in. But he doesn't mention Shaggy and Scooby, so he scares her, and that's why he can't get a ride. Get that thing away from me.
It goes off for like no reason.
As I witnessed, but.
Just want to make sure people can see it in the audience, the viewing audience. This is a V2 missile.
And did you build that yourself, Mr. Brown?
Myself, yes.
As a young man? Or last year?
No, as a very, very young man. Because now you buy them, are all pre-built. You just slap them together in 5 minutes, launch them, they explode in the air, you don't care. This, you can see I actually sanded the leading edges of all of these things.
Oh, wow. Yeah, look at that.
I mean, it took a lot of work.
Yeah, look at that.
A lot of very careful.
As a model maker, I'm looking.
And if you notice, most
game
Estes
recognize game.
Well, most Estes model rocket cylinders are straight. You can see that actually angles in, and I had to cut the fins. Here, look, this right here. See how that's angled?
Oh yeah.
So you had to cut the fins. I mean, that was workmanship. And then, of course, I stepped on it and broke it. But
like all the shit we built.
I know, exactly.
Either that or your brother did it.
Right. Or my wife would have thrown it away.
Yeah.
Why do you need that? You're not going to launch it. Honey, you don't know how much work this took.
Need is not the word. Okay?
Women are always telling you not to launch things. It's how we keep you guys in line.
Yes.
Yeah. But anyway, so
and the funny thing is, my grandparents, I remember them specifically mentioning Perry Como and how much they fucking hated him.
Why?
Really?
They did not care. Well, let me think about it. I mean, if I name a band from the 90s, you might go, "Oh, them, I hated them."
That's true.
You know?
My Aunt Ginger, she hated Elvis, which is unheard of from women in any capacity. But she loved the Beatles, hated Elvis, couldn't stand him.
I can see that. I can see somebody loving the Beatles and hating Elvis, or vice versa. And they're very, very different.
Yeah, they are. But so we just run into these little innocent blunders that Brendan Fraser keeps having, where he doesn't understand what a credit card is.
Yeah. What is that card that he shows anyway?
It's one of his baseball cards.
It looks like Willie Mays.
I think.
Oh, okay.
Because the lady, when he goes to the...
he's got like millions in baseball cards.
I know.
Yeah, he does. And his mother tells him...
He's like a drug mule right now with the amount of money he's carrying, And
he goes to the nicest Holiday Inn on planet Earth.
It is a nice one.
I don't think I've ever stayed at a Holiday Inn that had room service.
No.
Yeah.
They never took my bags to the room, that's for sure.
I was about to say, nobody ever accompanied me up to a room at a hotel like that
it was welcome to the Holiday Inn. There's your friggin' room.
There's your card. Go up to your room. And
I'll be at the front desk all night. Don't bother me.
And speaking of going up to your room, this is the first time Brendan Fraser's been above ground, where he's talking to the bellhop, and he's like, "Yeah, how old do I look?" And the guy's like, "I don't know, 25." He's like, "Because it's my first night away from home. I'm 35 years old."
I love that he says that. My father taught me in situation like he really.
My father told me that it's customary in this scenario to give a tip.
He reveres his father.
Oh yeah, and
I just love. It's so sweet.
And he even tells the bellhop, because the bellhop is like, "Oh, you want to tip me? Yeah, your father sounds like a smart guy." And he goes, "My father's a genius."
Well, and what's cool is that the way his character goes, the sort of character arc of Adam, what's his last name?
Weber,
is that he ends up taking care of his father.
Yeah, and there's a line about that Alicia Silverstone has. Yeah. She said, "Adam always tells me that historically, the parents take care of the children, and then the children take care of the parents. And when he says something so obviously wrong, I just pat him and I say, 'Okay, honey,' or something to that extent, where it's like, Her
voiceover was a little weird.
It was kind of shoehorned in the end because she wasn't narrating throughout.
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
Just in the end.
It actually kind of took me back a little bit.
Because it made it feel like her story when really you're following Adam.
Yeah, it's
not
like,
her.
why is she narrating all of a sudden?
Yeah. So, but because I guess she turns over a new leaf and it's like a different Eve. And, well, she helped him venture out. I mean,
I'm not in love with him.
Yeah.
But you are. I don't fall in love with guys like that. Yes, you
do. But he gets I love that he got a double bed. He got he got twin beds or whatever, and instead of just getting like a queen or a king suite. But
he gets a queen later, though.
Yes, he does. Batgirl. But spoiler alert. But he does. He gives Alicia Silverstone a card that's worth $4,000 in order to drive him to the Holiday Inn because he leaves with no game plan. So he leaves the Fallout shelter and then immediately gets lost and doesn't know how to find his way home. And the only reason why he realizes that is because when he's ordering the beef at the supermarket, they're like, well, for that large of an order, you can have it delivered. And he even asks the butcher, he's like, do you know where I live? He's so innocent and lost. Yeah, it's adorable.
Think about it. He's been in a little room for 35 years and he's set free. He doesn't know anything about streets or anything like that.
And you're so distracted by the sky and seeing a little kid for the first time, and it's just, but
that was sweet. Where he's like, "I've never seen anything like you."
Or he's like,
it made them feel special.
When he's looking at the sky, he's like, "I've never in my life seen anything like it before." Or like you. Yeah. He's just amazed. It's adorable.
How wonderful. How absolutely wonderful would all our lives be if we just walked outside, looked at the sky, and said, my God, look at that thing.
Because you see
That's
how much
incredible.
Because you see how much the general populace takes it for granted. Because they're like, "What are you looking at?" And they're looking at the sky too.
But the kid, she looks at it and she's like, "I see it." Yeah.
It's he's got this childhood wonderment about it. It's just adorable. And you see Alicia Silverstone, and she's kind of a
jaded.
Yes,
very jaded.
I already.
She spends a lot of time in her hair though.
Cynical.
She's like.
Anyway,
if your name was Cindy, I'd say cynical then.
Yes. Well, it was almost Tandy, but but Alicia Silverstone.
I used to own a Tandy.
Ew.
Do you know my wife lived next door to Jessica Tandy?
No shit.
Cronin. They were over their house for dinner.
Are you kidding me?
That's pretty cool.
She lived just an hour north of New York City, so they were surrounded by celebrities.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man.
Jessica Tandy was great.
They were
just
both
like how
great.
Jason's neighbor is Daniel Craig, a.k.a. James Bond.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
That's you.
Yeah.
Pretty badass.
Yeah. And Rachel, come on.
Rachel Weisz. Oh, I love Rachel. Yeah. I loved her before I ever loved Daniel Craig. Yeah. She was famous before him.
Oh, way.
From The Mummy with Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
So there you go. Full circle. But you see, Alicia Silverstone
it's like poetry. It rhymes.
She does have a moral compass because even though Brendan Fraser gives her the card to drive him to the Holiday Inn, she returns it. She's like, I can't accept $4,000 just for driving you to your hotel.
Oh, she just wanted to do him.
She's a good person.
I mean, he's a good-looking guy. Brendan Fraser was like, no?
Come on. Brendan? No, not really.
He's like, every man.
He looks like white bread.
No.
He's Wonder.
I mean,
his teeth are funny too. I didn't like his teeth.
Damn, dog.
Yeah, I'm very critical of other men.
Evidently,
God damn,
especially
dude.
Mel Gibson for some reason. I can't imagine.
I love Mel Gibson.
Have you seen the trailers for Mel's new movie?
Mel, as it were. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I have not seen them.
Yeah. He plays Santa Claus. No, and I have to admit, I'm gonna go watch it. Well. It'll probably stream. I'll watch it in my living room.
That doesn't sound like a winner.
Sorry, I just dated myself as an old person who used to go to the theater. No, it's a movie called Fat Man. And it's about Santa Claus, but like Santa Claus is a like grizzled, hardcore, like mercenary. Yeah, what?
So Bad Santa, but with Mel Gibson instead?
No, but he's legitimately Santa Claus. Like he is the guy who brings Christmas joy to all the world.
I'm not
but
sure.
like the reindeers are vicious killers.
Oh no.
And it basically what happens is he gives a lump of
Mad Max and Santa Claus.
He gives a lump of coal to a kid. And this kid, I don't know if he grows up and does it or if he does it, but he basically hires a hitman to kill Santa Claus.
Wow.
The government, meanwhile, needs Santa Claus to kill somebody else. And so, basically it's like, Santa, we need you. And he's like, last time, boys. Last time.
All right, we got to see it together.
I'm totally watching it. Yeah.
I'm going to watch it.
I might cry. But
I'm going to kill you, fat man. You think you're the first to try? We were criticizing Brendan Fraser.
Yeah,
for
some reason. Apparently you guys haven't seen The Mummy because he was just...
he was probably
Brendan
to die
Fraser.
for in The Mummy.
I think he's good looking.
He's
a good looking
Brendan
guy.
Fraser.
I mean, like,
do him.
if we're talking Encino Man, I don't like the big grungy hair and stuff, but Brendan Fraser's a handsome guy.
Encino Man was not. That wasn't really Brendan Fraser. I mean, that was him being with Pauly Shore. You know.
Yeah, it was a Pauly Shore movie with Brendan Fraser in it. But
U-Haul has not changed their trucks in 20 years.
Isn't that amazing?
It's
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I drove a U-Haul truck like that a year ago.
That's exactly.
Yes.
And I think the price is the same.
It makes them feel younger in hindsight.
I honestly...
The price hasn't changed.
Yeah.
Plus, there was a picture of the shuttle on the side, which is kind of ironic, right?
Yeah.
Even the different size trucks that they offer that you can rent.
It's the same. Well, and I say the prices haven't changed, but of course, as we all know, the prices on the U-Haul trucks are meaningless.
Yes.
Because it's like it's $5 plus all this other stuff.
Yeah. Plus the gas and plus this. But so what happens is Alicia Silverstone ends up in Brendan Fraser's employ, helping him to navigate the current world and get supplies for his parents who live in the fallout shelter.
Which is a clever movie way of keeping them together.
Well, yeah, because...
I approve.
Oh, thank goodness, because otherwise we would have had to stop this episode.
Well, the screenwriters would have killed themselves if I said anything else.
This is true, if they're even still alive. 2020's been rough.
Oh, come on, it's not that old.
It's from 1999. It's relatively old. But
now, were they really driving this truck, or were they in the studio?
No,
okay.
They're on a trailer.
Okay, gotcha.
I don't know. Are they?
Well, I'm just is that a film? That's a film,
yeah, that's
right?
a process shot.
Yeah. Okay.
It is. It's either a process shot or a green screen, but I think it's a process shot.
These boring ass tangents.
Well, we're talking about how they make movies. That's what the show is about.
That's what we do.
Talk about models and rockets and
her
process
hair
shots.
Is so late 90s.
Her whole look is 1990s. She's got like the heeled sandals and the shorter dress, the shorter sundress. Like her whole look, she's so 90s.
And they're listening to all the music is just ridiculous.
End of the world as we know it.
Well, and we have to talk about when they go to the nightclub, and it's
the flying neutrinos
and squirrel nut zippers.
Yep.
I don't think Brian Seltzer was in there, but I'm sure
probably not.
He was more rockabilly than big band, though. So.
Well, because the reason why they go to the nightclub is because Brendan Fraser, he makes it very obvious that he likes Alicia Silverstone and he wants to be with her, but she rebuffs him.
I know.
And,
yes.
Then he makes it her mission to help him find a wife because he wants to bring her on down.
Bring her on down to show Daddy.
Because in the
Daddy better not steal her.
Yeah, because in the real world, I think about 15 minutes after Brendan Fraser found himself in Los Angeles, he just would have started banging everything that moved.
See, that I was going to ask you guys about this because after 35 years of what you can only assume is self-pleasure.
Yeah.
I hope, because he's only down there with his parents. So I hope that's the situation.
Fish.
Yeah.
There's fish down there.
Now, he's driving. Is that a
You've never heard of sleeping with the fishes?
Yeah, but that's being killed. Not killing yourself.
I thought you said he was dead. No, I said he sleeps with the fishes.
Now, who made the Geo? That was a Geo, right?
Geo
Geo Metro.
Yeah,
is that the name of the car? Was the Geo?
Yeah, that was General Motors.
It was General Motors. Okay.
There's actually at one point in the movie
there he is. Who's that guy?
Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion.
He's 13. He's 13 years old.
He looks about that. Yeah, he's actually 27. Yeah. Okay.
Well, okay, and this is why I was going to bring this up earlier, but Nathan Fillion auditioned to be Adam Webber, and what's really funny is that think about Firefly, Jason, and think about The Mummy. He and Brendan Fraser are dressed almost identically in those two, the big khaki pants and, the holster on the belt and everything and the button-down shirt. That was exactly both their uniforms.
Well, that's what Hollywood needs to do, then. We need to get Nathan Fillion and Brendan Fraser back together again.
Yes.
Reboot
Rick O'Connell and the Captain together.
Holy shit.
Get
the
Rachel
Mummy
Weisz.
Firefly crossover.
Hell yes.
There you go.
Emotep is going to be pissed, but he'll do it. Don't worry.
Now, I guarantee they were competing for the same roles during this whole time.
Oh, yeah.
And, it was a love-hate relationship, right?
Well, actually, but I'm going to go back to
Did she just say that?
Yeah, she did.
Oh, sorry. I guess I should listen to what she says, shouldn't I?
Well, I'm a woman,
you have
so
to tune in every once in a while. You have to, otherwise you can't fake it.
Okay.
I'm only good for pregnancy and doing dishes.
There is a part in this movie, and I don't know if we passed it already. But one of the cars though is a sort of I think it was what color would you call it? Like a Merlot color.
Aubergine.
Yeah. No. Oh, there he is. There's Dave Foley. But it was a Oldsmobile Achieva is in this movie. and as far as I know, it's the only time it's ever been in a movie. That was the first car
Is that
I
what
ever
Dave
drove.
Foley? Is that Dave Foley's
I think
driving?
it's Dave Foley's car.
Yeah.
Is an Achieva. That was the first car I ever had. Was a 1996. It was white with red interior.
Oh, nice.
Okay, let's talk about our first cars.
Okay.
What was your first car, Mr. Brown?
Honda CRX.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Black on black Mazda 6.
And mine was red
That-
with a black
that's-
interior.
I love the Mazda 6.
Oh.
I used to own a Mazda 6.
Oh,
It was a silver 5-door. It was the hatch, but not really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was my very first car, and I was in my senior parking lot, and my friend Chris, who played on the boys' soccer team, I played on the girls. He was like, "Is that your ride?" I was like, "Yes." He goes, "You suck." And I said, "You're welcome."
Yeah.
That's not how you ask for a ride.
Yeah. Zoom, zoom, bitch. Because that was in that whole Mazda zoom, zoom. This is top.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, we've turned into Top Gear now.
Zoom, zoom.
Yeah.
Hammond, you idiot.
So yeah. Oh, we missed a great joke. So Brendan Fraser comes over to Dave Foley and Alicia Silverstone's house, and Alicia Silverstone is mixing up cocktails, and she's like, "Here's a champagne cocktail. I thought only hookers drank those things." And Brendan Fraser is like, "Well, I know Mom sure likes them."
or wait till like about 2015 and all that shit comes back. That's
Yeah.
like because he's drinking a Rob Roy.
Oh, yeah.
In the club.
Yeah.
In the club,
he's drinking a Rob Roy.
Yeah.
That's a popular cocktail now.
Yeah.
Well, just like how people
know?
like Manhattans and
Oh,
yeah,
Manhattan.
Manhattans
My
now,
dad
too.
Yeah.
drank Manhattans.
Absolutely.
Manhattans are delicious.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know why anybody ever stopped drinking Manhattans. They're delicious.
Well, everything is cyclical.
They're a little
Do you remember
too
when
sweet for me.
remember when Cosmopolitans were very
yeah.
popular in the late 90s?
Yeah.
Because of Sex in the City.
Well,
Oh, God.
yeah, that's
When
true.
Thank you
those
very
damn
much.
movies
Yeah.
came out, I was a bartender when the movies
Oh
came
God,
out.
how many
It-
Cosmos did you mix?
All of them.
I made all of them.
All of them.
Look
It
at the
was horrible.
Look at the facial expressions on Dave Foley's face.
When he
The
watches
man-
Brendan and Alicia
he-
together.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dave Foley is a person who is a comedy fucking genius.
Well, he's one of those
You
people who's
know?
great at reacting. Just what you were
Yeah.
saying, his facial expressions. He doesn't even have a line when he's watching Brendan and Alicia together,
Yeah.
but he's just, you can see their whole story unfolding on Dave Foley's face.
And I love that Dave Foley's character, and I can't remember his name, but he becomes sort of the anchor that pulls Alicia Silverstone
Yes.
back, you know?
Yes. Well, he
And-
knows Alicia better than she
Yeah,
knows
Troy.
herself.
Troy. And
Well, he does have a weird polarizing moment where toward the end, he sort of discourages Adam and he says, "Honey, you're a really good boy, but she needs a really good man."
well,
or something
I
like
think
that.
he was trying to tell him what to do.
to kind of
like,
to
to
like
get her.
cowboy up a little bit.
Because then,
Okay,
he
all right.
immediately, that's the scene where he goes in and he goes,
Puts the Band-Aid on
Are these
her.
pants ruined? Yeah, rip. and she's like, oh, it's going to hurt. Don't be a baby. You know, and she's
Oh,
like,
I'm
oh,
the baby.
he's insulting me now. I want to have sex with him.
Yeah.
What the fuck, women?
Put me down and destroy my self-esteem, and I am
Look,
yours forever.
Speaking as a guy who
weird.
was raised to be nice to women and didn't get laid in high school,
Well, no, you have to be mean
Yeah,
and
no shit.
ruthless and brutal, and then you get all the women you want.
No shit,
I
yeah.
learned that early on,
I wish I had.
but couldn't adapt.
yeah.
I still had to be nice.
See, until you find a sane lady, that's the thing.
Well, that's true,
The
I
sane
guess.
ones, they
I'm
do,
in the
they do like the
friend
nice fellas.
zone. And I'm all alone.
Oh my god.
I lived in the friend zone. I got my mail in the friend zone when I was in high school.
There's a zip code.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. But it's kind of funny because we talked about this, I think, on our IT episode. I think Michelle was the one who mentioned she used to like those sort of lumberjack bearded guys who were badass, and now she's like, I'm really into dad bods now.
Isn't that funny? Dad bods.
I was
Dad
like-
bods.
Yeah.
That didn't last long as like a trend.
It
you
was
know?
a thing, but yeah, it was incredibly short.
Well, you know why it didn't last?
Why?
Because how do you make money on that? How does Nike? How does any corporation make money off of the dad bod?
That's an excellent question.
It was
It doesn't take a
unless
lot of
it's-
work to get there.
exactly.
It really
I don't
doesn't.
have to
Restaurant
go buy any. Well, yeah, I suppose you could advertise.
Build that dad bod with the, you know, this
there it is.
burger or
Is that
That's
right there?
the Achieva.
That's Dave Foley's car.
Oh my
Yes.
And look
yes.
here.
god. That is a dad car.
Imagine
right
that, but white, and the interior was
Oh.
a brighter red than
This
that.
is where they went shopping
Yes,
together.
I was about to say,
Oh.
there's your moment, Mr. Brown, because, you know, Brendan Fraser had a glow up. He's no longer, because Alicia Silverstone when she first sees him in the jacket that Sissy Spacek makes him for his birthday.
And aren't they wearing almost the same jacket?
Yeah.
Isn't that cute?
Well, you got to think Dave Foley is trying to be a little like Brendan Fraser because Brendan's the taller, like more chiseled looking guy. And so he's like, oh, you look fabulous. Don't worry about it. But when Alicia first sees him, she's like, judging from that coat that you're wearing, I guess you're late for barber school or something like that. So they do glow him up a little bit. They make him look better.
Now, there is a fairly substantial montage coming up, so I think this is a good time for us to take our second break.
Let's do it.
We'll be back in about 1 second. And we're back.
There we go.
Continuity.
We tried continuity there. Let's see how it works in the final cut.
Did we refill everything to the proper liquid level? Continuity. Yep. We're on it.
Now, can I just point out we are in a spot in the movie where there's a particular car.
There's a car that I vaguely recognize.
I've seen something like it before.
I think I've actually...
It's exactly the one that I have.
It's exactly.
Purchased just about when this movie was made. That's why this movie freaks me out so much.
I love that we both had a car moment. Yours is a Porsche and mine's an Oldsmobile.
The Oldsmobile.
Hey, we're in slightly different places in our lives, right?
Aww.
That Achieva is still, I know for a fact because I know who owns it now. That car, it was a 96, so it's 24 years old. It is still rolling. It is still moving.
The same one that you had?
The exact
You sold
car.
it to someone and you keep an eye on it?
I sold it to my brother. He sold it to a friend of his.
See, Jason, maybe we've actually hit the bedrock. It's not really you being a nice guy that turned off the girls. It's the fact that you didn't have the right car.
Well, that is true.
The Achieva versus
I will say,
the Porsche.
I will say,
nice car, mister. Yes.
I will say that my luck with the ladies did improve when I traded in the Achieva for
a Camaro.
The Mercedes.
A green Chevy Blazer.
Ooh.
And the weird thing is, girls actually really dug that car.
Oh my God.
It's very manly.
I'm fanning myself as we speak. Oh my God.
That car was famous for stopping. It literally, I cannot tell you how many times that car broke down.
God.
And the Achieva, I got that Achieva to 120 miles an hour once.
You didn't achieve much with it, though,
No.
did you?
I was in an accident with a truck. I was in an accident with a truck that the truck was totaled, and I drove away.
Wow.
And another time, I backed into a ditch, and the car ended up like this.
No.
I put it in low gear and just drove it out.
Oh, my gosh.
It was like... The car was possessed. It was the weirdest thing. It was like a tank.
It was like a Nokia phone.
And it's still rolling.
Yeah.
It's got a new engine. I know for a fact the guy completely rebuilt it. Rebuilt the engine. But that was 15 years ago.
See, this is fascinating to me. All the effort that you guys have to put into having sex, and all I have to do is be female.
Oh, stop. Stop.
This is why I said, you know what? I should be gay. It's got to be easier.
Oh, it's very easy. Trust me.
Oh,
I've heard.
I thought we were going down a whole different road with that one.
We're not going down
rabbit hole.
We didn't call it a rabbit hole.
Not going down, period. Thank you very much.
I had a friend of mine who there were some girls I went to college with. They would go to the drag shows at the gay club near where I went to college.
Girls love drag shows.
And we would go. It was fun. But this one guy, he would never go. He was like totally like, I'm not going to a gay club. Forget it. Never, ever, ever.
Oh, yeah.
Finally, there was a girl he wanted to become very intimate with.
He wanted to get to know her better.
Yes. And she convinced him to go. So he's like, fine, I'll go. And so, of course, the first time he went to a gay club, we took a condom and we opened it up and we put it in his back pocket where it was sort of like hanging out.
You could see it, yes.
He got so much attention. It was great. Yeah.
Well, the guys will buy you drinks. I loved gay bars.
Yeah,
they
no
would buy
shit.
me drinks, and I actually met a lesbian and went home with her. It was fantastic.
Yeah. I watched hockey in a lesbian bar.
Exactly. It was
like
wonderful.
I was invisible, Bobby.
At the cherry pit. But
anyway, we can hit play now because there goes my car, the exact make and
Mr.
model.
Brown's
Oh, and there's
Porsche.
a Suzuki Samurai pulling up behind. Is that a Land Rover?
No, I think it was a Suzuki, wasn't it?
And another genuinely sweet moment because Brendan Fraser has all these old school manners, and he won't let Troy walk into a room before Alicia Silverstone. Ladies first, Troy.
Of course.
And it was funny because he says yes, ma'am, and no, sir. He's very polite, and that's, as you all know, being raised in the South, that's ingrained into our genetics even before we're born.
And I will tell you that actually there is, for young people listening, that shit actually has a very productive side to it. Because I remember...
Saying yes, ma'am, and no, sir?
Well, yes, ma'am, no,
letting
ma'am.
a lady go first. And I know why that's so important.
Well, I was at a...
I'm an ass man. That's why.
I hate to see you go, but I love to see you come. Wait, no,
stop. Quit while you're ahead.
No, but I actually, when I was a young lawyer, I had a sort of hearing thing. So the judicial officer was a lady, and I didn't even think about it. Every time she walked in the room, I stood up. And then when she sat down, I sat down again. And I wasn't even really thinking about it. And
it's ingrained.
That actually, the other lawyer made such an ass out of himself. And I just sort of didn't even think about it. I was just being polite, and don't think that didn't help me win that one.
Oh, hell yes.
It absolutely, because
they're human.
Exactly.
They're human.
Exactly.
Women are human. They are.
No. Judges are human. Women are not.
Yes.
Yes. Judges are human.
Yes.
Well, that's
women are human
affected me
too.
Negatively and positively. Manners that have just been ingrained in me from a young age. When I worked at Starbucks, I was on the drive-thru and I got in trouble with a customer because I called her ma'am, and since she's from New York, she got offended by the fact that I was calling her ma'am because that insinuated that she was old. Yes.
Right.
But I told her, I was like, well, ma'am. Here in Georgia, that's actually a sign of respect, and it's something that we're taught from before we can even talk. So I don't know what to tell you.
And we do it for every woman, even the complete cunts.
Whereas, like, a positive one...
we're too late on that one.
No, I can do it in post.
Okay, good.
Whereas a positive one, I was at my cousin Justin's engagement party, and I hadn't seen his aunt on his, like, father's side in years and years. And she goes, oh, how are you doing? And she's asking me all these yes or no questions. So it's yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. And eventually she goes, oh, child, you don't have to call me ma'am. And from across the room, my dad yells, yes, she does. Yep. And I was like, see, that's, yep.
Oh, yeah.
That's how it works.
To this day. And it's weird because I don't say yes, ma'am to my mom. I don't say yes, ma'am or no, ma'am to my mom. But to my dad...
Oh, 100%.
I abso-friggin-lutely.
My mom doesn't like it, oddly enough.
My mom doesn't care for it either.
Same.
Yeah.
It's weird with moms.
I think because it makes her feel old, maybe, or
not
whatever.
Just, it makes it feel like you're not as close to them, I guess. Like you're talking to a boss or something.
Well, and like with my dad, it's yes sir or no sir until there's a few beers, and then that passes.
Then
but if dad calls me up and he says, hey, and he asks a question, I'm going to say, oh, no, sir.
Oh, yeah. And it's literally, it's one word.
Yeah, no, sir.
It's NOSSIR and YESSIR. Yep.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. We were raised in the South, in case you haven't noticed.
Yes.
But so we're at this
But we don't drink Dr. Pepper.
Hot Pepper.
Which, okay, I like
I hate Dr. Pepper, period.
I like Dr. Pepper, okay.
It's got to be ice cold, though.
Well, because I wasn't hungry but thirsty, I must have drank about 15 Dr. Peppers. But,
90s woman.
Yes, with those very short cocktail dresses that they've got on.
God damn, women dressed good in the 90s.
90s were a good
It was a great time for fashion.
Like if you think about old episode of Friends with
News Radio.
Yeah. So like Elaine from
Seinfeld.
Monica from Friends. Elaine was a little more masculine with her shoes.
Elaine, the first few years she was, because remember in the 90s there was also that like farmhouse trend.
Yeah.
And if you look at Elaine Bennis's clothes in the beginning of Seinfeld, it looks like she's from Little House on the Prairie.
A little bit, it does.
It's weird.
But she doesn't do the sundress thing quite.
Well, it was the kind of the grunge period, right? A lot of flannel.
Yeah, well.
A lot of flannel.
For Kurt Cobain in particular.
The flannel thing, I mean, it was weird because like I didn't catch the grunge thing until early 2000. Late 90s. Late 90s. It was like late college.
Well, and girls started incorporating it into more feminine versions of it. They do like skirts and stuff that were plaid as opposed to wearing, an overshirt or something. But yeah, plaid was definitely in, and the grunge and all that kind of blended together. But
and
anyway,
this whole big and pantyhose women, please, for Christ's sake, start wearing pantyhose again.
Why? Okay, I have to ask because you mentioned this on Total Recall with Sharon Stone when she had the white lace pantyhose or something. What is it about pantyhose, John?
I don't know why.
Just take our word for it.
Yeah.
Actually,
I can't explain.
If you want to know why, my favorite author in the world, Neil Stephenson, in Cryptonomicon, he actually has this whole aside where a character explains in biological terms.
I'll put it in the show notes.
Why? Well, I mean, you'd have to.
I'm kidding. God.
Literally, like, here are the evolutionary cues that occur in a man's brain when he sees that.
Which are?
Well, it's like it artificially changes the shape of the leg to trigger something that in a man's brain is linked with health and the ability to have children and all the stuff that evolution makes us look for. It's like bottled right there. It's like concentrated.
Is it the same thing as like yoga pants? Is it the same sort of effect, or is that
a little bit? Maybe
It's similar, but it's nowhere near as much.
But
now, women, do they wear pantyhose anymore? Or is that like totally out?
The cool ones do.
That's what I was about to ask you guys, because are you talking about pantyhose, like more pantyhose that
she's
just go
got
up
legs?
Do you just go up to your thighs, or the ones that actually go up to your waist? Because the ones that go up to your waist are misery.
No. I'm talking about like you see somebody like I'm not saying being able to see the whole thing. I'm talking about just wearing a skirt with pantyhose. Like a woman.
No, I understand, but see,
they don't have to be thigh highs.
But so it doesn't matter. It's just literally what you can visualize up to her skirt.
No,
okay.
it literally
doesn't matter where they end.
Yeah, it artificially changes the way that the shape of the leg looks, and for some reason, it's like high heels.
Well, I was about to say, I think the high heels have more of an effect there than the pantyhose.
High heels without pantyhose, not as good. Not as good.
Really?
Oh my God. Yes.
You would think that the lack of pantyhose would be better, because then you're more. But
no.
hang,
I don't know
listen to my
why.
argument though.
No, we're not listening.
You're more accessible without the pantyhose.
But that's not what it's
one
about.
less layer to remove.
That's not what it's about, though.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying about the shape of the leg and stuff, but that's okay.
It's like if you talk to a kid who grew up in the 90s. Okay, in the 90s you got a boy who grew up in the 90s. Okay, you got Playboy and Victoria's Secret. Okay, one you can't get your hands on, one you can. But in reality, Victoria's Secret was way the hell hotter than Playboy was.
Okay.
Way the hell hotter.
But I will tell you the reason why most women know, unless we're older than 45-ish, I want to say. Like, it's not even popular with any woman really, like except for grandmas these days. Pantyhose? Are out.
All right, I'm into grandmas then, I guess. What am I going to do?
They're wildly
mature.
They're wildly uncomfortable.
Mature lady.
Because the thing is, you think that they're all form-fitting, but that's just what you can see. They tend to
We don't
slide
actually
down.
care about any of the stuff that you're saying right now.
Oh, but I had to listen to your bullshit for like 5 straight minutes.
We don't think, well, she's really hot, but boy, she doesn't look comfortable. Yeah. No, that's
well,
that's not how the brain
funny.
works.
I would think that the lack of an extra layer would be an extra turn on, but apparently not. So
no,
whatever.
Look, hottest show ever was the USA crime series Silk Stockings. Do either of you remember this show?
I remember it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mitzi Capture and Rob Estes. I still to this day remember them. It was like better than porn. Because it was literally the whole point of the show was it was a sexy cop show.
Okay.
But it was on cable. So they couldn't, they can't show nudity.
Right. Left a lot to your imagination.
Bingo. Yeah.
Oh, you guys are from such a simpler time.
It was a simpler time. It was a better time.
Oh, yes. Yes. When women still had hair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was a...
Rhonda Shear, USA, up all night.
I think this is getting...
It got a little weird.
We have to. I want to break for a moment just to say something.
Please.
Okay?
Go for it.
So, when I was watching this movie, I talked a little bit about my coming of age period. I had been in my fallout shelter, living up in central Pennsylvania and being in a submarine and finally leaving.
Hi, Barb.
Yes. But then shortly thereafter, I got married and had children, which is essentially the same as entering another fallout shelter.
Yes,
for many years,
yes,
okay?
Yeah.
So I'm
so sad sometimes, insiders.
Well, I'm speaking the truth.
Hey, yeah.
I'm speaking, and he knows.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you'll never know.
Yeah.
But anyway, But now that my kids are old enough,
smallest handcuff.
and a year ago, now hold on, this is going to make your head swell. A year ago, I met you two at a time when it's time for me to come back out of my fallout shelter. So I'm becoming more acquainted with pop culture, which I never had an idea about, like Rick and Morty.
You're welcome.
Community.
Yep.
Okay, I cried. I watched the last episode of Community 2 nights ago, and I wept openly.
You got ahead of me?
I did.
I thought we were watching it together.
I don't even like talking about it.
Right.
Don't spoil anything. I'm still on season.
No, I won't.
They better
spoil
make a damn movie.
But then I rewatched the first 2 episodes because I wanted to see them get into their character. And then, Pierce and Jeff are having that little party. It's a sausage party. And I'm like, sausage party? What's that? And then I thought, oh my God, 2 guys and a girl. This is like a sausage party. So what can I do?
What the hell?
Well, it's not.
What can I do for Jade? What is the opposite of a sausage party? Do you know?
A clam party.
I was going to say oysters. Oh, a taco.
A taco party. So Jade, this is for you. I want to even the playing field. This is here.
I'm not touching that.
I sleep with it.
I hate you guys. I'm leaving.
I'd like to take this moment to reach out to our sponsors and say, please come back.
Variant Brewery. This will be the last time we drink Variant, I suppose. Yeah. Come on back in, Jade.
We'll have to block. We'll have to cover the labels. There's other breweries, right?
Yes. No, there really aren't. That was done with love, Darth. And it's because I'm learning so much from you two.
He's adorable.
He is adorable.
It's a male taco?
Well, let me explain. Something that you need to know about my household is that we are a stuffy household. My kid is
and not
obsessed.
Not stuffy in the 50s.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have
stuffed animals or creatures.
Yes, I grew up around people who did puppeteering, and I watched puppeteers growing up, and I absolutely adore puppeteering. Being an MST3K fan, I mean Tom Servo and Crow and all those guys. And so our house is literally full of puppets. And we all have individual characters. We could do a whole show with them. So whenever I see Stuffy, immediately he's got a backstory. I have a drunk lobster you guys should meet. He's hilarious.
Well, bring him on the show.
I'll bring him.
Bring him on the show.
I will bring some Stuffies on the show, and they can guest star.
This may be a new phase, the new direction, so to speak.
I'm trying to. Well, see, we have an octopus who's German and very, very grumpy, complete asasshole. No, seriously.
If you guys start to see less of me starting,
my stuff's all innocent.
I don't want it to stay a sausage party. I want it to become more of a taco party.
Of course you do, because you're.
Hoo-ha, ooh la la.
You know what?
Hoo-ha, ooh la la.
Anyway,
all right, back to the movie.
There's a movie.
All of our guests are girls, except for we've only got
Darby.
Darby's
kind of a girl.
And Eric.
Oh well, he's been on.
Twice.
Yeah, but we didn't release one of them because we lost it, remember?
No, he has 2 episodes. He's got They Live and he's got Trimmers.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
I love how much you pay attention to the show.
Death to Smoochie is the one.
Yeah,
that's the one that we lost.
That one and the A-Team. We didn't release the A-Team either, but that was just the 3 of us. So
well, the A-Team was just not good. Death to Smoochie, we actually lost. The audio is bad.
Yeah.
Like we literally couldn't use it.
Technical difficulties that we couldn't surpass. But so anyway, let's get on a different train of thought, please.
Now, Brendan Fraser is learning that he has to be a little bit of an ass in order to get laid.
No, he doesn't have to be an ass. He just has to be a little more authoritative as opposed to just this, puppy that you can roll right over. So
that is the most sexual thing I've ever seen. When he blows on her knee. I mean, like the way
it's very intimate.
The way they shoot it,
it was well played.
I mean, it starts off at the club because Alicia Silverstone is trying to help him find a girlfriend or a wife or whatever.
Yeah, she cock blocks him 3 damn times.
It's because she wants him, but can't admit it.
Yeah, seriously.
Within a span of like 30 minutes.
And also, I do have to say, I was watching this going, Brendan, buddy, I don't know if she's the one. I mean, she's really cute. seems a little high maintenance.
Tad.
You know, there are these other girls that she hates who just want to kind of have fun and party.
They just want to
bang.
Well, I think that's more, after you've been married a while, I think that's more the perspective, whereas he's never been with a girl at all.
Yeah, I see.
Because she even asks him if he's had sex before, and he says no. And he's 35. So that right there would be
that alarm bells would be going
What's wrong
off.
with that?
Well,
I'm kidding.
With his particular circumstance, I totally understand it. But I would never date an older man who had not had sex.
That is weird.
That is
it's like,
it's weird.
What kind of technique could you have possibly developed?
Well, it's sort of like either have sex by then or lie.
Yeah.
Just like Dave Foley says, lying is
this is where the 40-year-old
very effective
virgin
tool.
got its jumping off point, actually, because Brendan Fraser's 35.
Oh,
and
they're
he's never
kissing.
been
She's
with a
just
woman.
imagining
kissing for
Alfred
the first time.
Pennywise.
And he actually looks like he's a pretty good kisser. I mean, good for Brendan.
She damn sure does.
They're relaxed.
Yeah.
It's not a stiff kiss.
Yeah.
Something else might be, but not the lips. Oh, now he's trying to get more.
Well, the
Adam.
sound man had to put his microphone on.
You just love the
Do
Alicia
you have an
Silverstone
erection?
saying your name, didn't
Yes. Alicia said my name.
you? Yes, she did.
And do you know who the other psychiatrist was? Mr. Brown, by the way.
Yes,
What?
I don't
Oh!
know.
Yes.
I put that in my notes. Damn it! He rolled right over.
I know. This
Damn
movie
it.
freaked me out.
Because I was
I'm telling you, sometimes the simulation winks at you.
Yes.
I had an experience the other day.
Do I want to know about this?
No. This is just
He's over 40. It's clean.
Yeah, I do
Trust
the
me.
genealogy thing, and I do genealogy, call family members of service or of missing in action,
Yes.
or POWs. Okay, so it's spooky how many times this has happened to me, and it just happened to me. Literally, it was yesterday. Call somebody up out of the blue.
Was it Spike Lee?
And no, it wasn't Spike this time. No, I call somebody up, and I say, I'm calling about such and such, first lieutenant. I won't say the name. And the person says to me, and literally at least 24 times this has happened to me. He says, "I was just an hour ago thinking about that guy."
Oh,
Now this is like an uncle. Or
so it's a
or a
kismet
nephew
that you
a nephew.
call them at the time that you do.
And it's like the weirdest thing because he's like, I was just going through some papers and I found this thing about the genealogy of this guy. And I was sitting here reading it. And less than an hour later, I get a phone call from a genealogist calling about that person.
That's spooky.
At least 24 times.
All your devices are going off right now. Just so you know.
Well,
No, the timing is amazing.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the simulation sometimes winks at you.
Well, because I even made a note of that. I did, because I had honestly, genuinely forgotten that Brendan Fraser's name in this was Adam, and then the psychiatrist is Mr. Brown, and I was just like,
and the Porsche.
that's bizarre.
And the Porsche.
And
yeah.
the time frame.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice the Porsche. That was that.
I actually didn't notice that either. Yeah.
Well, I thought it was parked at my office all the time. So because
I like to stalk her. Okay, I'm sorry.
There is a Porsche Boxster constantly at my office, and I can only assume.
There was a time when stalking was considered to be romantic.
Yes.
Are you stalking me? Because that would be super.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Wilder.
Who is it? There was a stand-up comedian I saw once who was talking about how his grandfather used to say, "Yeah, I saw this woman and I said, I'm going to marry that woman." And then every single day I would show up outside of until she finally agreed to go on a date with me. And it's like, dude, you were stalking her.
Yeah.
You just wore her down until she...
Well, that's why you hear, not that you guys get on Facebook or anything that often, but there's memes and stuff out there where it's like, Romeo and Juliet, not a good love story. Romeo was stalking her in her yard and just waiting for her to come out on the balcony. Edward from Twilight, he's creepy as shit. These are not ideal relationships, ladies. So, that actually does kind of feed back because they go back to a Perry Como song where Brendan Fraser's singing to Alicia Silverstone while he's patching up her knee.
That's very sweet.
Where it's, I've often walked down this street before and I never felt the pavement beneath my feet before, but he's talking about being on the street of the girl that he loves, and he's like, I think about you when I hear that song.
Well, what's cool about that too is that, remember, in the 90s that was a very common trope in movies, was for somebody to start either singing or speaking lines from a song.
Yeah.
And it was neat in this case because it was the same thing, only about a Perry Como song.
Yeah.
So that was neat. It's a good movie.
It is.
It is. I've got to say, when you first suggested this, Darth, I was sort of like, okay, I'll watch. I've seen
a Darth selection.
No, I was like, I've seen it before. It's funny or whatever.
And look, my associate, Mr. Brown.
Mr. Brown.
Brown.
Right there. Yeah.
And it's the spitting image.
That was meaner than my cover band comment. That was mean.
right.
Obviously satire.
Yes.
Obviously
You're lucky I'm
satire.
old and grizzled. My feelings don't get hurt that easily.
Poor Mr. Brown.
No, but this is where Alicia reports him to social services or something, and the psychiatrists come to take him away. But the scene where he backs the truck into her car, I laughed so hard because it is so damn funny.
Son of a bitch.
I know, because she's like, we all remain calm, and then the second,
And then Troy brings it back to her.
Yeah.
Because, when Brendan runs off, or Adam runs off, and he's trying to escape the psychiatrist because of what he's heard on the Honeymooners.
Right, of course.
He knows to beware of the psychiatrist. And the therapist is like, okay, we need to remain calm. That's the most important thing, because Alicia's having second thoughts. And then when Brendan crushes the psychiatrist's car, Troy is such a smartass, and he's like, so we need to remain calm. That's the most important thing. It's so David from Schitt's Creek.
Yes.
It's so bitchy.
It's extremely David from Schitt's Creek.
So let's remain calm.
Alexis, let's say calm.
Alexis.
The bad.
The bed.
Not you, Alexa.
She's gonna be talking
Shut up,
to us.
Alexa.
Sorry. The U-Haul.
Every time we watch Schitt's Creek, the whole damn time, it's going on.
Oh my God, Ted. So
she does the kitty paws thing.
she does. No, that's like kitty paws. Raise them all the way up. But
And she pulls out her cell phone, which looks like
It's
something from World War II.
Yeah,
Baker
roughly-
Company, this is Alpha Company.
it's roughly
Over.
the size of my car.
Yeah.
Poor Troy looks like Elijah Wood in this movie. They don't dress him up
No,
too well.
his hair is a little funky.
Yeah, his hair is a little.
That was probably Dave Foley's idea. His hairstyle. He probably showed up with that hairstyle.
Yeah.
You know what? I
Yeah.
can see it. But this was
We are, by the way. We need to start wrapping up.
okay. Oh,
We'll wrap up when he backs into
Yes.
the car. Can you flash to that as he does it? I don't know
it'll-
why.
yeah,
it's about to happen
it's
in
about
like
to happen.
20 seconds. So, what happens, hindsighters?
Remember when bowling shirts came back?
Yes, Charlie Sheen brought them
Yeah.
back.
I had an awesome bowling shirt that my wife threw out.
Elaine.
Yeah.
My God.
It was blue
Here
and
it is. Hold
Oh, here
on.
it comes.
He's backing out. And I mean, it's that
He
just
doesn't do that much damage to it, to be
No.
perfectly honest.
son of a.
Oh, I got hit
Not
the
the
other day.
truck.
That was exciting.
You did?
I did, unfortunately.
Really?
No, everything was fine. This woman, her foot slipped off the brake pedal and she knocked into my car a little. It didn't do any damage, fortunately. But
Bullshit.
no, my car lurched forward. But
No, I meant bullshit. My foot slipped off. You weren't looking and you wrote. You
were texting later.
The same thing happened to me, and the guy said the same thing.
She
and I'm
had like her 14-year-old child in the car, so I wasn't going to start like cursing at her or anything. But I noticed that my car had no damage, so I was like, move on.
Yeah.
Have a nice Thanksgiving, whatever. But so Brendan Fraser, and he's so sweet because he tells Alicia Silverstone, like, pay off my hotel bill, and you can have all my baseball cards, and he hands her a fortune and runs
Millions.
off.
and he leaves the stocks too.
Yes, of course.
And he leaves everything
In the hotel room.
not knowing how valuable the stocks are, because he at the beginning of the movie, the dad does tell him that they're useless now because they assume that society has crumbled and that money means nothing.
Right.
But so Brendan Fraser, despite the fact that Alicia Silverstone tries to have him committed, he's like,
Yeah.
well, Eve, if you say so, because he trusts her so much.
That'll be a great story for their grandkids.
It will be.
Yeah.
Adam
I was
and Eve
I was bad at
recreated the
math.
genetic line.
Oh, grandma.
But you come to find that he was telling the truth the whole
Yeah.
time about growing up in the fallout shelter, because that's what leads her to have him committed in the first place, is she thinks he's insane.
Yeah.
When he tells her,
I wouldn't even know who to call.
yeah, it's like, who do you...
I don't like if I
Yeah.
wanted to have somebody committed. Is there a phone number for that?
I was going to ask you because you're an attorney, so I thought that you might know somebody. But
I mean, it's not anything I've ever dealt with. I'll put it to you that way.
And
I'm sure.
Call Nurse Ratched.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's somebody you call and they put you in touch with somebody else, and then the guys in the white clothes show up.
But
with the net.
But it all solves itself pretty well. It sews up really well because
it does. Oh.
Because Alicia Silverstone does find out that Brendan Fraser is ridiculously rich, and she's like, "Oh, look at that! I fell for a guy before I knew he had money. That's different." And so,
well, I like that the toothpaste gives it away.
Yeah, because it's from the '60s trademark. Because Troy's like, I don't even
1961.
recognize this brand. Yeah. And
the toothpaste was actually made out of tin. You remember the toothpaste? It was tin.
And a little bit of lead.
Yeah, just a touch. Yeah.
Your baby only lost a few brain cells living in that crib.
Everyone was totally happy back then.
I wonder why.
I love brushing my teeth.
Lead paint and cocktail hours. Yeah. I'm telling you, we need to go back to that time.
Oh, cocktail hour.
But it was kind of sweet, though, because Alicia Silverstone, they do salvage her character a bit because she's so cynical and mean most of the time, and she's cursing at Brendan Fraser. But she does tell the psychiatrist, she's like, you know what? I do believe him. Wherever his home is, I think that's just where he wants to go. He wants to go back home. And so she changes her mind and pulls a 180, and they find Brendan Fraser because he's just walking down the street. Conveniently.
Well, they go looking for adult bookstores.
Yes, because they went and bought like a bunch of frozen poultry, and so they wind up on the same street, and Brendan Fraser's just walking around all dejected with his hands in his pockets, and Alicia Silverstone
he's on the street because they're loading the stuff in.
And so he's getting ready to go down for another 10 years, right?
Yeah.
10 years? What? That's a long time to go down.
Yes. Yes, you did.
But,
well, it depends. Let's wrap this up quickly.
This went south.
Yeah, let's wrap this up. This went south. The Battle of Big Beaver.
I think you mean stuffed beaver. But anyway, so
I'd like to thank our sponsors, Varian Brewing, for allowing us.
Thank you, Varian. You're the best.
You're gonna have a new taco flavored beer, which salmon-y. I don't know. Anyway,
fish tacos.
Fish tacos.
Mm-hmm. No pearls to clutch, is there?
No. I'm gonna give this movie, on the Alf to Seinfeld scale, I'm going to give it a 9. Because...
Wowza.
Now, because before today, because I don't even remember the last time I saw this movie, but it was sort of like one of those kind of disposable comedies in my head. Like, it was a comedy, came out in the 90s.
You don't remember how good the comedy was.
Yeah, it's like, what other movies? Empire Records. Yeah, that was a movie. Grosse Point Blank.
Yeah.
Kind of remember it, And then watching it, though... It's really good. It's sweet. The performances are good. Very well written. It's really cool that you've got like this Christopher Walken movie and then this Brendan Fraser movie.
Yeah, they're running parallel to one another. Uh-huh.
And it really absolutely, I don't think it could have improved in my mind more. So, I mean, I don't want to give it a 10 just because I want to leave that. There's got to be something out there that's a 10.
No, I'm giving it an 11.
11?
An 11.
Whoa!
That
First time that's ever happened.
Wait, wrong one.
Nope. Yeah.
This is...
No, I got the wink.
Moment.
I got the wink from this one. I've never been winked at by...
a movie.
Anyone, really, actually.
Why was he looking at me when he said that?
Well, what do you want him to do? Look at me?
No, it was a touching film, and I could relate to this character so well. And there was just so many little winks going on that I'm giving it an 11. This is I love this movie from start to finish.
Yeah, it's a really, really,
and the writing was, just the way they linked everything. You chose.
Yeah, you really did. And you didn't expect it.
I didn't.
You totally didn't expect it.
I was like, what is this movie? Oh my God, I got to watch it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I watched it today, and from the moment it started, from the year, it was like 1962. It's like, well, that's kind of close, And then they're stuck, and then he emerges. I'm like, yeah, it's about the time I went to New York City, Oh, look, that's the car I drive, And look, the gay man, he's helped me too.
See how well I know you without having known a lot of
And that time I had sex with Dave Foley.
Well,
you wish.
He got me drunk on
You
Rob
wish.
Loy's first.
Exactly. So yeah, I loved it.
Yay!
Let's have Darth close it.
I'm celebrating right now, and I'm also going to give it a 9, gentlemen, because it's been many, many years since I've seen this movie, and I honestly can't remember what made it jump into my mind to want to watch it for the podcast, but I remembered enjoying it and it being wholesome, but I was too young to really appreciate all of the nuances and the jokes and like the Cuban Missile Crisis and the fact that Sissy Spacek wasted 35 years of her life because a plane crashed in her car or in her backyard, excuse me. But everything about it.
Hey, but you can't cry over spilt milk.
This is true. Yeah. And like you said, they would have died anyway.
They would have been dead.
Been in the house.
Yeah.
So, and Christopher Walken, it's like you said, it's a parallel story. And there even is, these two parallel scripts that melded together and somehow made one great cohesive story. I love this movie, and the jokes improved. I understood more of it now that I'm older. And it's a solid 9.
Let me just say this then, because we do have a record, I think. Because that makes the score. This is a 9.7.
Wow.
I think this is the
I think the only movie that even came close to it was Die Hard. And
no, because I didn't.
Die Hard was close.
Yeah, because Die Hard was.
We loved it.
Yeah,
the beginning and the end.
Yeah,
right? Mine improved. Y'all's didn't because you remembered it from a more adult age.
Yeah.
Whereas I would have seen it when I was single digits and then appreciated it more as I got older.
I think this has got to be the record.
Yeah,
I think a 9.7 is the absolute record
for Darth Jader.
Thank you.
Yeah, she did it.
I win the episode.
She is an amazing woman.
I try.
But she's not a Ruski, thank God.
Yeah, true.
Damn,
she's
communists.
Ukrainian.
we immigrated.
On that bombshell.
Yes.
No, that plane crash.
Yes. And on that terrible plane crash.
We bid you adieu.
Take us home.
Take us home, Jade.
Oh, Hindsighters, thank you for joining us through the Cuban Missile Crisis, surviving through the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and early 2000s, and 2020 at this point. We appreciate you for your quarantine. Get that away from me. I hate you both.
In the show.
Darth and Jason and Adam, we all really appreciate you guys tuning in. Happy Thanksgiving. This will air after Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving to all of you out there, especially those of you who don't celebrate it. We appreciate you joining us for your holiday time, your listening time, your drive time, your gym time. We don't care what kind of time. This is just the start to our holiday season, so this has been Hindsight.
And we're looking forward to all of you getting out of your bunkers.
Yes, eventually. So thank you. This has been Hindsight, and good night.